Hey friends, I recently knocked out the campaign again to unlock Prismatic on my Warlock, and it's very fun. Although I'm not necessarily going to use it over the vanilla subclasses, it's very good and I feel that it fits the theme of a hybrid. In this case, I am using Bleak Watcher and Hellion, however you want to pronounce it, with Nova Bomb to sort of act as a hybrid stasis shadebinder, but having a faster super. A direct comparison would look something like this, where I have pretty much too low intellect to ever take advantage of, so I acknowledge that I'm not going to get a super in Trials of Osiris, and instead I'm going to win the match with my grenade and my melee, using Ivan of the World to carry it instead of Osmiomancy, because there's currently a bug with cold snaps where the cold snaps fuse with the floor and don't do anything, so I just don't find them reliable enough to make a game plan around. Instead, I like glacier nades, as you've seen in my past videos, to throw a glacier on the ceiling, lurk on an angle, and sort of just wait for someone to be unaware. Also, there's some very nerdy turret spots. It's not like Prism can't take advantage of turret. Of course it has a turret. But what Shadebinder brings to the table is Frost Pulse. This can stop Missile Titans. This might even be able to stop the Arc Strider super. I haven't really tried it yet, but it is an anti-shotgun tool that is extremely consistent. And the Penumbra Blast is also on Prism. It's great on both. I'm using Ivan of the World to offset the 4 strength to have the cooldown a little bit faster. It does me better than Claws of Ahamkara throughout the match. I know that Prism can use Claws on the exotic class item. So what else with Prism? It's my hybrid Blink class, so it's sort of a mix between Void and Shadebinder. So what's really cool about Hellion as compared to Child of the Old Gods is in the Blink animation, Hellion will still shoot even though I'm on cooldown and can't shoot my gun yet. Hellion will still do damage. So for that reason, I think I'm locked into this combo right here. I think turret gets too much work done. There's too many nerdy spots on the map to throw a turret on a ceiling if I really want to win the match. And it's not like I can really get an ability kill with Penumbral Blast or Cold Snap if I were to go that route. So Feed the Void just isn't an option. Lightning Surge is Shadebinder 4.0. And I would pretty much have to run Arcane Needle, but since I want to run Penumbral Blast to stop a lot of the BS in the game, I can't really run Lightning Surge either with adequate cooldowns. Compared to Shadebinder, I have the option of Nova Bomb instead of the Shadebinder super. Look at the cooldown difference. So I want to spec into High Intellect so I can add the first super in the match. It's a big difference between Shadebinder. Weaver's Call doesn't make much sense to me because I already have Hellion. So this just really seems like the only move. And if I were to go the exotic class item route, Osmiomancy is not it. Like I said, the Cold Snap is not consistent. Let's take a look at all of the options. I think Ophidian is the easiest to call on. Necrotic might have some matchup against some supers, Bubble, Well, that sort of interaction. Filaments is what I am most interested in because it sort of acts as a third aspect where I can have Devour at the cost of, instead of running Phoenix Dive, I go Empowering Rift, and I'm totally cool with that. However, having Empowering Rift and Blink at the same time is incredible for breaking ankles, and it does come up, as well as Phoenix Dive is just nice for giving your entire team a very quick burst of healing so you can immediately go into the next fight. Comes up a lot. A lot of these fragments have an alternative on the vanilla classes. It's certainly a hybrid. I even have Faceted Solitude here. I've done an entire video on that so I can help my my hunter homies get their invis whenever I sever an opponent and they happen to pick up the kill. Just went for that. Apparently Faceted Protection works in PvP. I still have to test that to be sure, but I watched other videos. I'll pin a comment if it doesn't. Faceted Command was disabled in the raid. You freeze, and it reloads your weapon, and it juices your stats, gives you more AE, etc. It's incredible. Facet of Purpose gives me an overshield when I have a Void Super. Comes up very often. Facet of Blessing. I'm using Penumbra Blast to freeze. Then I pick up the melee kill. Heals me. Facet of Dawn gives me Radiant, which does come up when I use Penumbra Blast to freeze wells and bubbles and use my special weapon to get the final blow. Now for grenade choice, yes, I can go Cold Snap. Storm Grenade, I like a little bit more with Blink for setting traps where people chase me. They get hit by like the 70 damage by the Storm Grenade, and I just clean them up with hand cannon shots. It's very consistent. It's worth mentioning that this is the tier 0 meta. This is way better than Prism. Prism can't even hold a candle to this. Speaker Sight, throw the turret, turret makes orbs, get faster super, get infinite golden gun sniper, loop it. It's been known about since day one, just hasn't really been showcased in a video yet. This is the meta in the game. That being said, it's a honeymoon period. People aren't necessarily playing to win right now with the most effective stuff. They just want to try out things. And that's sort of where I'm at with Prism. Eventually, if Bungie doesn't intervene, we will probably see all, speaker helmet, precision instrument guns to offset the healing, conditional finality to fight other wells. I did the damage testing on like what takes out a well from neutral, and the answer is not really much has changed, except it's a lot easier to break the well sword. However, in a lot of cases, someone in the comment section is going to type up like, oh man, it's easy to delete a well, just use a Nova Bomb. It's like, yeah, but you're not necessarily always going to have your super, and you're not playing against like bad opponents all the time. They're going to hide the well sword and not make it easy to hit the well sword, and they're going to just frame one react to you every time you try to shoot the well sword, so good luck with that. In the past, I used Pulse Nade to take it out. By the way, I actually don't know what the point of Stormcaller is anymore. Let me know in the comment section what you think Stormcaller brings to the table, because honestly, I think Prismatic just ate it up and spit it out, as well as Arc 3.0 Titan. They just completely take over Stormcaller, and I feel like there's no reason to ever run this class again. In the event that the future meta is all speaker helmet Warlocks, 2 well, 1 Song of Flame or Daybreak or whatever it is, I've sort of worked out the answer on Prismatic, and I hate to say it is switched to Vortex Grenade. You have to Penumbra Blast the Well Sword, and then immediately throw the Vortex Grenade at the Well Sword, and then disengage until the well breaks. That's your answer, and it's not a very good answer if you are persistent on playing Prismatic Warlock. You get a longer cooldown to your grenade, which is effectively your turret, which is your playmaker. So you're really just playing this to have a better super than Shadebinder with half of the Shadebinder kit. Yes, some of these fragments are amazing for team play, but I don't think it holds a candle to some of these vanilla subclasses. Like take, for example, Broodweaver with Weavewalk. You become immortal, and the only way they stop you is by chasing you down and freezing you. You send out Threadlings to be very, very annoying. You create tangles to grapple onto them and refresh your grapple. Very strong. I already talked about Shadebinder with the platforming and the Frost Pulse. Then we have the classics, Floating Dawnblade. And then we have a new addition, which is Floating Dawnblade with Grape Helmet in-flight compensators to have close to 100 AE from neutral. No heat rise is needed, which means you can run Swarm Grenade, or you can go Incendiary Nade to blow up teams. It's very strong. We have the classic Void Astrocyte setup. Again, you build into higher intellect to have the first super of the match. I'm using Undermining in this case with Magnetic, so I pop them once in the face with the hand cannon, throw the Magnetic, and then it activates full power Devour. Any subsequent kill refreshes my nade, which helps the loop. Pocket Singularity knocks him out of the way. It's a very tried and true solid setup. So I bring all of this up to compare it back to Prismatic. Prismatic, I feel like, does a really good job of being a hybrid. And although when push comes to shove and I have to win the match, I'm not always going to pick Prismatic like I would on Hunter. It's still a very fun option, and I'm curious to see what else the community lands on. I think the short-term answer is they're probably just going to throw turrets at each other, out-heal everything, and that's going to be their short-term answer. Anyway, friends, enjoy the gameplay. I'm not even going to spoil the gameplay, just enjoy the gameplay.